What's up guys, Art at GrimmSpeed. We thought we'd take you along today on something a little bit fun. We're going to be installing the GrimmSpeed 2015 Plus STI Intake on that car right over there. That is a 2017 STI that one of our employees owns. So we're going to go ahead and grab the intake out of our warehouse here. You can come through with me. Take a look at our operations, take a look at my baby here. And we'll go grab the intake. So here's the one we want, 15 STI. I got the keys for it. Let's go put it in. Hey Doug. All right, we've got our intake, we've got our car, it's time to put them together. I'll give you a little bit of background on this. This is one of our customer service employees' cars. It's pretty much stock. He just got it, I'd say around 3 or 4 months ago. It's got a couple of the GrimmSpeed aesthetic mods, license plate relocation kit, our new, brand new delete plate, one of our windshield banners, and if you look on the inside, I believe, yep, he's got one of our limited stainless knobs in there. Something you can't get anymore, unfortunately. And we'll pop the hood, see what's under here. A whole lot of stock goodness, but it won't stay like that for long. We're gonna be doing the intake today and then eventually downpipe boost controller, top mount intercooler. And speaking of top mounts, you can hear the buzzing noise. That is the welders working on aluminum right now, which means more top mounts are being made. Maybe the specific one for this car is being made right now, we don't know. So let's start with the intake and then we'll have more fun another day. All right, so we got everything we need to install it. Tube, heat shield with the GrimmSpeed logo on it. That's how you know it's real. Air filter, gaskets, and the coupler. And of course, a couple stickers at the bottom. All right, we got the first major portion of the OEM intake out, the filter housing here, and then this milk jug looking thing. I think it's something to do with air pressure or sound quality. Either way, we're not gonna need this anymore, so we'll set it aside. The other thing we have to do is take out this sound tube assembly here, which I've loosened to the turbo inlet. So that should come out, and then it's just a couple of bolts here and a clip, and it'll pop right out. All right, we got the sound tube assembly out. You can see the entire OEM pile of things we removed that we're not going to be putting back, and we're going to be replacing with this beautiful GrimmSpeed intake. As you can see, I've already put the gasket material on here. It's got the nice GrimmSpeed metal logo already in it. And basically, you can see this is a fully enclosed heat shield on a lot of intakes. They're halfway enclosed, 3/4, something like that. We did ours fully enclosed. That way, once it's in the engine bay, I'll mock it up for you here. Right in there. It's gonna keep the heat of the turbo and the downpipe and everything here away from the MAP sensor, which is inside the heat shield, along with the filter and the tube itself, pumping as much cold air as it can into the motor. And you can see why we call it the stealth box, because it's very stealthy. Kind of looks like a government airplane shoved inside your engine bay. So next up is to fit up our intake tube. You can see it's made out of aluminum, not plastic like a lot of the other intakes out there. You'll also find an air straightener right here, which is welded on. If we go down to the OEM filter box here, you'll find an air straightener from the factory. So it is a necessary item on your intake. If you see intakes without them, be wary of them, because it's a necessary piece that directs the airflow, straightens it before it reaches the MAP sensor essentially. Speaking of the MAP, something I mentioned already, show you as the tube fits in here. The MAF sensor is going to be enclosed, getting nice, fresh, cold air, and more importantly, consistent air. If it's outside of the tube and you have the heat from the downpipe and the turbo and really exhaust manifold anywhere on this side of the engine, then it starts messing with the readings as you're going fast, you're getting on it, you're cooling down, you're idling, that sort of thing. So we have chosen to develop ours with the MAF sensor on the inside here. And of course, we got to throw the air filter in as well. We actually get these air filters made custom for us. You can see a nice GrimmSpeed logo there. Boom. These are oil filters, that's why they have this pinkish hue. As the oil dries up and contaminants take their toll on it, it'll get a little bit lighter, and then you would use a re-oiling kit to recharge it. So these are really nice quality filters. We spend more money on them, again, to make them custom. Have a custom venturi and kind of curvature here, specifically for our intake tube and our straightener. And you know, the quality there makes it last the lifetime of the product. So if you have this for 100,000 miles in your car, then feasibly the filter with regular re-oiling should last the same amount or more. One thing to keep in mind when you're installing one of these filters is don't put it more than an inch over the intake tube. Some people tend to cram it on as far as they can. You're going to want to keep it an inch or less, and then you can tighten it right down there. So here's what the whole assembly looks like outside of the car before we install it. One of the design features of ours, it's somewhere between a cold air and a short ram intake. So there's negatives and benefits to both. With a short ram intake, it tends to suck up a lot of the hot air from the turbo downpipe area. So we didn't want that happening. And with cold air, then you're exposing it to moisture. Let's say you hit a puddle, it can get sucked up, road debris, that sort of thing. So ours being an in-between, it still gets all the fresh air out of the fender and sort of bottom portion of the car, but it also blocks the heat coming from the turbo in that area. So you kind of get the best of both worlds with an intake like this. Here it is, the completely installed GrimmSpeed intake. It looks a lot better than stock. It's going to perform a lot better than stock, especially after we get it tuned. That's an important thing to mention is, especially with newer age Subarus, you're going to want to do tuning for things like the intake. So that's probably the most frequent question we get. Do I tune for it when I buy it? Absolutely, tune for it, unless you want to risk the longevity of your motor. But once you tune for it, you're going to see how much power this thing can make, and when you couple it with other parts. So if you have a stock STI like this, a lot of people like to do what we might call a stage 2 package. So that's downpipe, an intake, boost controller, and then the sky's the limit after that. But that'll open up a healthy amount of power, a nice tune, it'll be reliable, safe, and fun on the road. And look good while it's doing it. All right, with all that being said, my biggest advice is stockpile these parts. So buy the intake, buy the downpipe, boost controller, whatever you want, and then do one tune. That way you're not going back and spending hundreds of dollars on retunes. Plan it out. Plan where you want to be and go after it. Now, again, a recap of this intake. This is the 2015 Plus STI, so all the way to 18, possibly 19. We haven't tested them out on those. And we have a variety of intakes for all your other cars. So if you have a GD, GR, BRZ, we've got intakes for those too. So check them out on our website, go on there, read reviews, go on Nasioc, see what people have to say about these, and make the decision based off that. But I guarantee you personally, the art guarantee, that you're gonna love it, you're gonna make power on it, and you're gonna keep coming back for more GrimmSpeed parts, hopefully. Hopefully. Keep the lights on in here.